Welcome to Richland Community Library's Beginning Watercolor with Miss Carrie. Today we are going to make some simple flowers and simple butterflies. So there are a couple things that you can do first. You can trace or sketch your butterflies out. Today I'm just going to freehand it with my watercolors, but feel free to trace out your butterfly before we get started. We're going to start by making some flowers over in the corner of our paper, and then we'll make some butterflies. So the first flower that I'm going to show you how to make is a rose. This will be looking down from the top of a rose, and then we can also do from the side as well. So I'm going to start with some red, and then we can add some darker tones as we go. So go ahead and get your red ready. Get it nice and wet. So we're going to start our little rose, and we've done this before on a different flower page, I think, but you just make a little C and a backward C, and then this is where we're going to let our brush do some of the work. So we press down and come around, press down and come around, and we're just kind of filling in around the flower by letting our brush do the work. And you can make your flower as big as you'd like. We're going to make 3 of those. So that's one, and we're going to start over making our C and a backward C. That's the middle. And then we're going to just keep making our petals go around the center, making sure that they overlap. Just like that. One more. Backward C, regular C, and then just fill in around by letting your brush do the work. Just like that. Now we're going to make some leaves to go along with that. So go ahead and grab some green. And we're going to just make the outline of the leaf. So you go out, out, like so, and make the line down the center. And you could go the opposite. You could make the line down the center like that, and then follow the leaf out like that. Let's go ahead and let that dry, and then we will We'll make some more details in there in just a minute. Let's work on our butterfly. So there are two ways that you could make your butterfly. You can make it where it is flying sideways, or you can have the whole spread out. So let's do the whole spread out, and I'll show you how I get that done. So you're going to want some clean water, and I'm going to start with a base coat of yellow. I'm going to get yellow on my brush, and I'm going to make the outline of the wings first. They kind of go like that. And then our last one, we learned that insects have 3 body parts, and again, wings are just on the thorax, so they start at the same point, and they go around like that. Now I'm going to fill those wings in with yellow. Now, if you're making a specific butterfly, I do suggest that you look at a picture and or trace the butterfly of your choice. We're just going to make a generic butterfly, one that doesn't really exist necessarily. Alright, so I got that all covered. I'm going to take a little bit of orange while it's still wet and just let it spread itself out. It doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, we're going to take that yellow again, and starting at around the same place, we're gonna go out, come back around and down. Your butterfly won't be perfectly matched. Let's fill it in with yellow. And again, we'll take our orange. Just like so. And we'll let that dry. While that is drying, we're going to take some black to make our body. Now on a butterfly, we can't really see, unless we're really up close, the difference between the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. But we don't have to make them all separate. But they usually have a pretty long abdomen going on. And then we're going to take our smaller detail brush, or if you have something even smaller, that would work too. We're going to give it some antennas. Just like so. And we're kind of waiting for that to dry up a little bit, but while it's drying, if you want to take a clean, dry brush and just run it along the back of your body. That's going to lighten some of that color and give it more of a 3D look. Just like that. We have to make sure that it's absolutely dry when we go to do our next part. So let's come back to our flowers. And if you have a darker red, you can use that, or you can just use less water on the red that you were using. Now we're going to kind of go back through and give it kind of a shade in here. So on the inside of your petals, we're just going to add with our detail brush a little bit of a shading aspect to it. So it's going to be a little bit darker than it was before, because you're adding a second layer of paint. We can start to add a little bit more color to the leaves as well. You can just add a little bit of a thicker green to it if you want. Just add a little bit more color. And you could fill it all in too if you wanted to, with both the flowers and the leaves. Just depends on what you want to do. I'll show you what that looks like as we're waiting for the butterfly to completely dry. So I'm even going to use a third color on my flowers. So if you have like multiple reds, you can just keep going darker with your red or even lighter with your red. This is kind of a reddish purple that I'm going to kind of add to the center here. And you can just keep filling in your flower until it's all full. We'll do that. We'll do that with one of our flowers here. So you can see what that looks like. So you're filling in all the white space that you once had. Kind of gives it that layered look. Or you can just keep them with the white as well, and it looks just as pretty. Let's check on our butterfly. I know my one side was pretty wet. So that side's dry. This side is still a little wet at the top, but that's okay. We can at least work on one side. So you're going to want your detail brush, and we're using black. So just like a monarch butterfly, think of that while you're doing it. And we're going to just bring our black line all the way out to the edge. And usually there's like a little scallop here, and then it's of course black all the way. All the way down here. So we're going to darken this scalloped edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. And normally they're pretty dark here in near the body. And then they generally have like these lines. So let's do that. Now butterflies tend to be pretty symmetrical, but not quite. So they'll have the same design, but they won't necessarily have everything the same size. So you don't have to worry about getting it too perfect. All right, let's do our underwing. And where that one's scalloped out that way, this one's generally scalloped this way. And we're gonna make this is where you can have some fun in trying to decide how you want your butterfly to look. Alright, now the fun begins when you try to do the other side to be similar. So let's see how it turns out. A finished simple butterfly and some simple flowers to go with it. I'd love to see how your butterfly turned out. So go ahead and email me at the email link down below, and hopefully I can see you this summer for an in-person class.